Cuddle is a microfiber plush fabric, and we have it in two main categories. Cuddle 3, what we like to call the flat cuddle or smooth cuddle, and Luxe Cuddle, which is the higher pile cuddle. So these two work a little bit differently, and we're going to cut them slightly differently. Let's work with the Cuddle 3 first. This is the flat cuddle. We'll see how you can cut this. The easiest way is to just cut it from the back with your rotary cutter or with scissors. I like to always draw my lines first with a felt tip marker and a ruler. So I'll show you that. And I'm just going to put this on here, draw a little line, we'll give it a straight line. And I'm going to draw that line, and then I'm just going to cut it. And I'm going to use my rotary cutter and just follow that line as I go, just kind of watching where I'm going, cutting right along there. Once I've cut that, I'm just going to pull apart, and I'm not going to have hardly any mess. Any mess that I do have will come off in the dryer when we throw it in there with a wet washcloth. Tumble it around for a few minutes, it'll knock off any cuddle dust. But you can see it's actually very minimal in the mess department. When we're cutting Luxe Cuddle, we're going to actually be cutting all of these little fibers off when we cut. So the easiest way to do it is to cut it from the back and to not cut the front too much. So if you cut it from the front with the rotary cutter, all of these are going to be cut and you're going to have a big mess. So what we do instead is I turn it over and do the same thing, draw a line, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of cutting it. So I get my ruler on here, draw my line, and then I'll cut it. So I can cut it with the rotary cutter, but I don't really want to do that because it's going to make a mess. So instead I'm going to use these little scissors. So these are the Famore 6-inch razor edge comfort handle scissors, and they are also micro serrated, which I really like, and I can just slide them just under the edge of the fabric and grab just the backing. So you can see there's a lot of pile here that we want to not grab, but I'm going to just barely catch underneath that edge. Okay, so I'm going to catch just the edge of it, and I'm just going to take some little snips right along here. And cut just the backing. Okay, and as I do this, I'm going to just kind of resituate my scissors so that I'm grabbing less of the actual nap and more of the backing itself. So you can see I'm not cutting a bunch of mess, not making a bunch of mess there. I can also use another one of my favorite tools, which is the Olfa SAC-1 blade, which is a great little blade that will cut the fabric really nicely without cutting through to the nap. So I'm just going to bring this up and I'm going to hold some pressure here, and I'm just going to drag it right along this line, and it's just going to cut the backing fabric for the most part. I'll end up cutting some of the front, but not too much. And I end up having most of it stuck right onto the fabric still so that it isn't falling all over the place. This is the easiest way to do it. You can go ahead and cut it with the rotary cutter, and I'll show you the difference there. Okay, and if I cut it that way, you're going to see immediately there's much more mess because it's cut off all of the nap here, so it gets much messier. All right, so those are 3 different ways of cutting Luxe Cuddle. So you can use your micro serrated scissors, a rotary cutter, or the Olfa SAC-1 blade. You can also use the rotary cutter and full scissors, so full length scissors, you can use those for the cuddle as well.